When I first started flight training, it felt like going from 0 to 100 hours was a huge accomplishment, and that by the time I got there, all the uncertainty that I had around flying would just fade away. But now that I've reached 100 hours, I think I have more questions than ever, and honestly, I'm still trying to work through the uncertainty of being a low-time pilot. So in this video, I want to talk about what the first 100 hours actually look like as a pilot, share a story of a flight that humbled me early on, and tell you how aviation has changed me for the better outside the cockpit. In the first 100 hours, you start with one main goal: learn to fly the plane. And that goal shapes what most of your early hours look like as a private pilot. Local flights, touch and goes, maybe a few cross countries here and there. And by the time you're 30 to 40 hours into this thing, it can feel a bit underwhelming. Underwhelming enough that some students quit. But all that repetition has a purpose. Every flight, every landing, it's building your skills and awareness in the airplane. Even when it feels like you're not doing anything new, you're building a solid foundation and structure that you will carry with you for your whole flying career. These systems we build now are incredibly important because after the check ride, it falls back on us as pilots to keep that structure and safety in place. The other thing that happens after the check ride is that lessons stop coming from just a CFI. Now they start coming from real-world situations that you have to handle yourself. And these situations often happen in ways and at times that you least expect. One of these lessons I learned came from a night flight that I took from my local airport to another nearby field that I had flown to before. The weather was good, the pre-flight and the run-up went great. The only thing that wasn't ideal is that there wasn't all that much moon illumination that night. But I took off, and the flight was going to plan until I got close to the city that I was supposed to land at, and I couldn't find the airport. I knew where it was supposed to be, but amongst the city lights, I could not locate the airport's beacon. I tried keying the pilot-controlled lighting and even at different intensities, but I still just couldn't see it. I stayed calm knowing that I had plenty of fuel. I checked my maps and my GPS to see where I was in relation to the airport, and eventually I caught sight of the beacon. Once I was able to do that, I was able to get oriented and ultimately land safely. But I walked away with a valuable lesson that changed my own rules for night flights. Now, I keep my night flights local, unless there's a really good reason not to. And if I'm going somewhere without a CFI, the weather and moon illumination both have to be great. Another rule I have for myself is that I need to have flown this route at least 2 times during the day before I ever attempt it at night. I do all this not because I'm scared of night flying. In fact, I really love night flying. There's nothing else quite like it. But it's because I respect just how different things can appear in the dark. On top of having flights that teach you lessons in your first 100 hours, you also have flights that remind you exactly why you wanted to do this in the first place. The first time I flew with my wife and my daughter was one of those flights. Not because it was impressive. I mean, we just stayed local for a quick flight, but because it was meaningful in another way. In that flight, I was giving my daughter a whole nother perspective of the world, but that's not all. It's a chance for me to show her that her dad had chased his dream and ultimately achieved it. And by sharing a moment like that with her, I hope she grows up believing in herself and knowing that she can pursue and achieve all her dreams as well. And that, where flying stopped being all just about myself, is where the magic in aviation really is. It's what makes all the hard work and time worth it. But aviation didn't just change my relationship with others. It also changed the relationship that I had with myself. I can remember when I first started that I would be brutal on myself for messing something up as simple as a radio call. I would swear at myself under my breath. I'd be mentally telling myself that I just wasn't good enough to be doing this. But eventually, I realized something. All pilots, even the experienced ones, make mistakes. I mean, I hear them mess up their radio calls all the time as well. But when they make a mistake, they realize it, they fix it, and they move on. They don't sit and dwell over it. And as soon as I applied that to my own flying, I became a better pilot. And that change showed up for me outside the cockpit as well for other situations in my life. I've realized something about myself over time, and that's that I'm hopelessly drawn to skills that you can't necessarily finish. And flying is definitely one of those skills. No matter how long you fly, there's always something to learn and there's always something you can sharpen. And honestly, just like some of my other hobbies I have in my life, whether it be golf or archery, that lack of an endpoint is what keeps me coming back and what truthfully motivates me. So what is your first 100 hours actually like? Well, it doesn't feel like you've arrived at your final destination. I can tell you that much. For me, it feels like I've just barely taken my first step. And if you enjoyed this video and you're thinking about taking your first steps in aviation, or you've been doing this for a long time, there's a good chance that you're going to like this next video on screen. So we'll see you over there.